So Mode's question is, in your first couple of deals, did some stalking, big up. Did you use a sourcing agent? Sourcing agent, so professional, lol, love it. And may I ask why you used one, as the sourcing fees impact the ROI massively? So I used a sourcing agent on my first deal because I was working full-time in my other business and I was contracting and I was just busy. And I think that's the main reason. I could not make viewings. I could not get over to the, no, I just couldn't, you know me, I just physically, it was not possible at the time. And I couldn't go on weekends. So, and a lot of these viewings, they don't happen on weekends. Like a lot of them just happen on weekdays, especially for some of these investment ones. So yes, it affected the return on cash left in. However, my first deal, I left in $4,000. The sourcing fee and project management fee all in extortionate was about $4,000. So yes, it would have been a no money left in deal without it. But even with it, it was still pretty good, right? Second one, I can't remember why I used a sourcer then. I think it was just, I was just open to different methods and I was starting doing my own sourcing and I was just finishing my contract, I think, at my other business. So I used them. And again, this one's left in, this got valued quite nicely, actually, above what I expected. I think this one leaves in like $5,000 or $6,000 and their sourcing fee, they didn't project manage it for me. Their sourcing fee was about 2.7. So you can see, yeah, it does impact it by, I don't know, 5-10% maybe. But this is in an area with capital appreciation. I didn't get the deal otherwise. I know in X many years, like, it's done. It's going to be a cracker. Would you know, if this was in an area that didn't have as much capital appreciation as this one, then would I still pay the sourcing fee potentially at that time? But I'd be way less keen because I know I'm always going to have that sort of cost. How I think maybe also, like, how do you find a good sourcing agent? James, you recently bought off a sourcer, so tell me what made him a good sourcer.
What? I didn't buy nothing off a sourcer.
I thought your HMO in Teesside you bought off.
No, that wasn't bought off a sourcer. No, that was again spotted in an auction catalog.
Oh,
and again, this time the legal pack was red.
Yes. Fine. So then I thought you used one. Fine. So I think finding a good sourcer, for me, there's a few things. Do they have good deals? Do they put in all the details? Are they missing figures off their spreadsheet? Have they accounted for things like council tax, insurance, bills, whatever, in the time you're holding? Do they know their area well? You know, is this a deal that, well, they would invest in themselves? And they may not because they haven't got the money or blah, 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 but would they invest in themselves? I like them having a brand, because having a brand and a profile is a double-edged sword. If you mess up, right, there's something sort of that can be damaged. So it's kind of insurance for you as someone buying. The bigger the brand a sourcer has, the more protected you are, because they're less likely to send crap deals. They're more likely to rescue any efforts that went wrong because of the impending damage, right? So it might sound bad, but you have to protect yourself, right? So those are the really important things for me. I think also, like, when it comes to sources, I've had sources send me deals and they've all stopped sending me deals. I wonder why. Because they'd send me a deal and I'd say, I recognize that fireplace. I recognize this picture. And I was like, these are such estate agent pictures. So there's two things here. You reverse Google image search to find what the hell this is. Or you go onto Rightmove, you look in the area. Oh, they're selling me a deal at 65K. Oh, they've secured it at 65K. It's on the market at 70K and it's not sold STC, and their sourcing fees $3,000 and their project management's $1,000. So all in all, they've got me a $1,000 discount for something that's on the market. Now, once I've had this happen and I knew the agent and I called them and said, hey, you know that property, Scott Street, we mentioned it before, you know, can I view it? Is it open to offers? Yeah, mate, come down on Saturday, open to offers. Put the phone down. I was like, okay. So they're sending me a deal that's been secured at $1,000 discount, really all in, but I can actually go get it myself. I was like, y'all must be stupid. So don't buy from sources who send you dumb shit like that. Get the email and say, and I said to this sourcer, this is on Rightmove. I said to you, send me off-market deals if you like, but don't send me on market stuff. And I said, look, they're both open to offers. What are you on about? And then never sent me a deal since. And this happens with all sources. So, like, don't just be like, oh my God, they sent me the deal. I have to buy it with them. I have to. At the end of the day, like, if it's on the market and they haven't secured it, it's not theirs and you haven't signed a contract. So don't get into any confusion or feel bad because they're shit. Like, again, I'm sounding like blunt and rude, but it is what it is. Like, why would you pay? Like, if James said, oh, I've got a house for you, by the way, here it is, look, all packaged up, but it's on Rightmove. So if you want to go to the, why would you wouldn't pay James anything. Give him 50 quid for bringing your attention to it, but you wouldn't pay him anything. So yeah.
Just to add to that as well, a good deal sourcer should be fully compliant as well. From what I've heard, I've been doing some research into deal sourcers, and there are some compliances that they need to be following. And I think it costs them about 1,500 to £2,000 to become fully compliant. And you can do a quick search just to find out what those compliances are. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll add it later on to Facebook or something. But yeah, a good deal sourcer needs to be fully compliant. And if they are compliant, you be able to tell that they've gone above and beyond to make sure that they've set themselves up properly before they go away and do it. And in the case of Mohit, I know you work a full-time job, mate. So a deal sourcer might be pretty damn good for you because it's going to save you a lot of time. Or the other thing is, you set up some criteria on what you're looking for, and you get a virtual assistant to sieve through and do that all for you and find you the properties you need, and actually even set the meetings up for you. Set their meetings up for you, the viewings up for you, all in one bulk, and you saved yourself a hell of a lot of time because you work full time. Now that hot little tip, I'll tell you who I learned that from. I learned that from Mr. Hodge, who's also on this talk here. Mr. Rob Hodge, yeah, big him up, man. He taught me that tip over on his HMO day. So yeah, nice little tip there, guy. Maybe get yourself a VA who can do all the monkey work for you, and you just turn up and view everything that's within your criteria.
Yeah, I would do that. I'm doing something similar, and yeah, Rob, my interior design consultant, has definitely shared that with us. Right, James, I think it's been over an hour. Has it? You got the recording?
Yes, yeah, an hour and 15.
So I've just asked if anyone has any questions. I think there was one earlier that I was going to ask, but I don't know if there was. And then we can log off. There's a question. Nope.
Mortgage holidays has just come up.
Okay, my quick opinion of mortgage holidays is, if your rent's not getting paid and it's putting you in financial difficulty, then I think it's just a no-brainer to take it, because we're in such unprecedented times. If the rent's being paid and everything's groovy or you can kind of get away with it, I personally wouldn't, only because of maybe an assumption, not necessarily a good thing here, that banks and the government are, what they are, and there will be a judgment, right? As in there'll be not a on the books judgment, but a sort of, the lenders will say, oh, you needed a holiday, did you? Okay, we see you. Whereas I think if you didn't take a holiday and you come out of it, you can say, what? I didn't need a holiday. So when it comes to lending or bridges, you can say, I'm good. I came through this and I didn't bother you once. So now let's talk about better rates or better agreements. So I think there's going to be some leverage, but that doesn't mean you should put yourself in financial ruin just to then have a bit of maybe leverage or argument to get better rates and better deals, So it depends on your situation.
Just to add to that, mate, I've taken mortgage holidays on 3 products that I've got with Birmingham Midshires, and they actually contacted me and said, "Look, how's things going?" And I thought, "Whoa, for a mortgage company to contact you, say, are you okay? Is everything good?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Look, we're offering 3-month mortgage holidays. We can see that you've been a client for X amount of years and things are all good. Would you like to take this up?" And I'm thinking, I've already got some issues with some rent coming in. This was within a couple of days of the coronavirus being introduced and all that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this up, because more so than anything, I wanted to make sure that my next 90 days, 120 days, my cash flow planning was tight. It's lean. And if it means that a mortgage holiday is going to allow me to free me up with a few, several thousands of pounds each month. And the way they actually calculate how you repay it, it doesn't end up being that much more on your following payments to make that up. And one of the things she said to me was, I asked her categorically, does this affect my credit? And she said, no. If you cancel your direct debit payment, that's when you're kind of staying, they get a ping on their side saying that, look, you're kind of refusing to make a payment. So she said, as long as you don't do that, you're all good. And I have this in writing from them. So I would say to people who are worried about their credit, make sure your broker puts this in writing to you. Now, If you're trying to speak to your brokers, don't be surprised if you're waiting 3 or 4 hours. Sorry, not your brokers, your lenders, 3 or 4 hours on the phone. That's the given time at the moment. Or if you're in a queue list, you don't be surprised if it says you're number 22,000 in a list, because they're the kind of wait times you're going to get. You just got to persevere with it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. One last question from, who's this Sahota guy? Anyone wanting to follow me can. Ugh, what can I do? Okay.
What's that on your face? A big spot? Hey, get some moisturizer.
Bastard, I'm exfoliating. Freddie says, in regards to deposit for a flip, can you use a personal loan for a deposit? No, technically not, because it depends on your solicitor. Some solicitors are just like, yeah, show me your bank statement. Cheers, mate. Some solicitors are like, here's a form you fill out. You must declare for anti-money laundering where your money's from. And yeah, I think you will break the terms of your personal loan using it for a deposit, because I think a lot of them say you can't use it for something sensible like a house. You can use it for cars and TVs and shit. So I would be very careful with that, Freddie. I would speak to a solicitor and say, look, what's the deal? And look, people do it, don't get me wrong, but they just have a certain type of solicitor who's a bit more lax on their part. But technically, I believe it's loan fraud, or you're breaking the terms of your contract, and they can call the loan in at any time. They find out, and then you're left with a hole. So it's not the best thing to do it. And I'm sure it's not necessarily legal. Right. Do we conclude?
Yeah, I think so.
Amazing. Well, should I conclude, or would you like to conclude this time?
I'll leave it to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So thank you everyone for joining us on this live The Property Duo show. We'll be doing this probably next week, same sort of time, I guess, if depending on James's diary and his kids and all that stuff. He's a proper adult. So thank you for joining us. If you have any questions following this chat, just reach out to me and James separately. I think most of you follow us on social media. And for everyone listening and watching at home, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.